Here's the truth. Intensity is not love. It's an emotional trap that you learned in childhood. Each person we meet carries a lesson, whether we realize it in the moment or years later. Every interaction becomes a quiet teacher, showing us who we are, how we love, what we fear, and what we're finally ready to outgrow. People don't behave the same with everyone. They respond to the energy in front of them. The space you hold, the dynamic you unconsciously create, this is why interaction often reveal far more about you than they do about the other person. Your triggers, your tone, your reactions, and the subtle energetic exchange, all of it reflect what's going on internally. There are 3 things that every interaction reveals. Every connections or interaction you engage in shows you your boundaries, your patterns, your self-worth. Your boundaries, it's about whether they are firm, flexible, or absent. Your patterns are what you tolerate, what you chase, or what you avoid. And your self-worth, what you believe you deserve in relationships. These are not conscious choices. They are automatic responses shaped by your past. You can ask yourself some questions that will reveal the power dynamics in a connection or in a relationship. Every interaction reflects something. You can ask yourself, do you stand your ground or do you shrink? Do you become hyper independent or do you tend to people please? Do you chase the moment someone pulls away? Do you allow yourself to receive or do you overgive to feel safe? Do you show up as an equal or do you turn into what I call the forever giver? The person who see their worth by what they can give, or they see their worth by how much they give, and if they don't give, they feel worthless or like they don't have any value, you know. And this is a big trait to keep in mind and to observe in yourself. These small details reveal what you tolerate, what you believe you deserve, the patterns you tend to repeat, the truth you're finally ready to see. The truth is, interaction don't lie. They are mirrors. They are clean, precise, and unforgiving in their honesty and in what they show you. Like a reflection. Now, why you're attracted to certain people? Your attractions are never random, and this is a very important thing to keep in mind. They are always patterned. You're often drawn to people who reflect your wounds, your unmet needs, your childhood blueprint, your unresolved emotions, or your unhealed parts. This is why chaos can feel like home sometimes, because chaos might have been familiar. And familiarity feels safe even when it's toxic. Now, how to distinguish intensity versus truth? And this is where most people get trapped. Here's the truth. Intensity does not mean connection. It does not mean love. And it does not mean destiny. Intensity often means your nervous system is activated. Your attachment wounds are triggered. Your shadow is engaged. Or that your trauma is being mirrored back to you. But because it often feels very strong. People tend to mistake it for fate or destiny or meant to be. To not fall in this trap, you can ask yourself these questions. Is this connection grounded? Does it feel peaceful? Does it help me grow? And the most important one, do I feel safe in that relationships or that connection? And if your answer to one of these questions is yes, you have to be very clear and honest with yourself, because that connection is not aligned. It's more a distraction, and it's not in alignment. Another thing is the savior complex trap. It's the famous role of the savior. And you see that a lot in TV shows, in movies, in fantasy, in a lot of rom-com. And so what is the role of the savior? If you are highly sensitive, intuitive, or empathic, you naturally feel people's wounds. You see their potential. You sense their pain, and usually you want to help. But here's the truth. You can't save someone who doesn't want to save themselves. And most importantly, their healing is not a responsibility. Because love is not a sacrifice, and it shouldn't be a sacrifice. You can observe some signs in the relationship that will tell you that you are in a savior role in the relationship. Some signs can be justifying their behavior. Maybe you tend to justify their behavior. Oh, they did this because they had a hard childhood, or they have some things to resolve, they had a bad day, or any kind of justification that you can give to that person. Another one can be, and we see that a lot in TV shows and in TV in general, thinking that your love can heal them. Okay, so this one, we see this a lot, especially for women or woman role that will save the bad guy or the trouble man, or this belief that she can be the only one who can save him. This whole thing is extremely toxic. And again, your role in a relationship is not to save the other person. Next one is you stay for their potential and not their reality. Everything should be seen in their action, not in what they say, but in what they do. And their action will speak more than any words they can say to you. So it's important to remain grounded and to observe how they act, what they do, and what they offer, and not fall into the trap of what they say to you or what they say they will do, but really to keep them accountable to their actions. The next one is you absorb their emotional chaos. Sensitive can tend to absorb other people's emotion very easily, especially if they didn't learn to develop these energetic boundaries that would prevent them to absorb other people's emotions. So they would tend to absorb other people's emotion. That would cause them to be drained or to feel overwhelmed. It can also create a lot of anxiety, a lot of stress. So this can also be a sign that you are in a savior role and the whole dynamic of the relationship might be unequal. Okay, another thing is you carry guilt when you try to walk away. And that one is a big one as well. If you want to leave a relationship but you feel guilt about any reason, it can be any reason, you have to remind yourself the reason why you want to leave the relationship. If the person is toxic or they're not good for you, or the relationship doesn't seem to work, whatever reason, it's your reason and you have the right to walk away from a relationship when you decide to. And it's important not to be pressured to stay in a relationship that you don't want. Another one is you feel responsible for their happiness. In a sense, it's important to make sure that your partner is happy, right? But it shouldn't be at the cost of your own sanity, of your own life, of your own project. And it should not become a sacrifice of your life, of your own project, of your work, of your social life, you know. And overall, it's really important to remind yourself that you're not responsible for their happiness. The reason I know this role very well is that it's something that I experience personally and that I know very well. Sometimes it can feel like you sacrificing a part of yourself or entirely. It can feel like you're useful, or that you're purposeful, but in the end you're just gonna end up drained or burn out because you might be taking more than you should take, and it just keeps you trapped in relationships where you are giving 100% and receiving nothing back. So yeah, it's important to observe that and to see if you tend to fall in this pattern and to break it. When you start to see the dynamics clearly, the patterns will start to collapse. The illusions will start to break, and all the emotional charge will also disappear. You will see that your energy will come back to you. And this is the moment where you will stop falling into these emotional traps. This is also how you break generational cycles. And I believe it to be a responsibility for the next generation. And finally, more personally, this is when you will finally gain freedom. Because the truth is simple. You are not meant to choose chaos in relationships. You are meant to choose peace. You are meant to choose alignment, not intensity. and you are meant to choose truth and not fall for illusions. To summarize, don't chase people who activate your wounds. You can choose people who activate your growth. Follow what aligns with your value, your truth, your long-term path, and not what satisfies your old patterns. Never run towards intensity that is not grounded. If it feels intense but unstable, it's not fate, it's not destiny, it's not love, it's a distraction. Next, choose what feeds your nervous system, not what destroys it. And that's a very important one. Peace is always a sign of maturity, and it's not a sign of boredom. Just because intensity feels familiar doesn't mean it's a good thing. And finally, choose relationships that mirror your healing, not your trauma. And this is how you reclaim your power. Interaction by interaction, choice by choice, one connection at a time. That's all. I hope it helps you, and I will see you on my next video. Bye.